It is Sunday, the 9th of August, and this is your weather update for the week ahead for Queensland and Northern Territory. Queensland, a lot of your weather is being dominated by several fronts moving through the south, delivering some cool breezes up into the interior along the coast, as well as some rainfall. Whereas Northern Territory remains fairly settled for the week, however, there is some intrusions of some troughs, which are bringing a bit of rain into the interior, and then the high pressure systems moving across are causing some very cold overnight temperatures, especially down in the Alice Springs region. So let's have a look day by day because it does change every day. There's lots of happening actually this week. So let's start here. This is Sunday's rainfall accumulation. You can see that not much is happening in either of the states, whereas Monday we're getting in southeast Queensland sort of 5 to 10 mils. So some moderate rainfall on the way as the fronts start to come up into the coastal regions. Tuesday, it settles down for both states. Wednesday, we're getting some showers as a trough moves through, so 1 to 2 mils down in southern Queensland. Thursday, calm. Friday, this is that little sort of incursion that I was talking about from the mid-levels, 1 to 2 mils that could sort of start to come into the southern part of the Northern Territory. And then it sort of develops a little bit more strongly there on Saturday. So we're talking sort of Friday night, Saturday morning is when I expect this to move through. And we've got a little bit of onshore rain, just some light showers in Queensland. And then Sunday is when we have a trough start to develop and some rain in Queensland as well. Sort of 2 to 10 mils is possible on that Sunday. All right, I want to have a look at the wind very briefly. Let's just go to Monday's wind gusts just to show you that there are some strong winds down here in the south. Now, they're not really coming up and intruding anywhere into the two states, so that's good news for you guys, which means that across the week, I just show you when those, we'll look at Sunday when those two sort of troughs are active. We've definitely got some more wind associated with those troughs and that rainfall coming through into NT, but not severely strong winds. So the spray conditions remain fairly decent across the week. In Northern Territory, spray conditions are stronger towards the start of the week than the end, but Queensland, for most of the week, there's fairly decent spraying conditions. I do want to have a chat about temperature because there's some really interesting things happening. So this is Sunday, which is today. And there's this very warm air intrusion, so 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, which is not unexpected for the northern regions, but it is intruding quite far south because of the wind direction here. So advecting quite a lot of warm air into sort of central Queensland. So that's just a little bit interesting for this time of year. Typically that warmth doesn't come quite as far inwards. It looks a lot more like Monday's warmth where it stays very much in its latitudinal band, so in the sort of the tropic region. So yeah, Sunday definitely was a warm day if you're in that sort of central Queensland area. Okay, talking now about cool overnight minimums. Here we're looking at Friday, where we can see as the sort of high pressure settled weather moves over the areas that we've got pockets 0 to 5 degrees, 0 to 5 degrees in southeast Queensland and sort of central or southern Northern Territory. And then if we go ahead to Sunday, when we've got both of those very like active mid-level trough systems, we can see that the overnight temperatures remain fairly warm as that cloud sort of traps that heat in. So overall, it's not a particularly frosty week for either of those two states, but there's definitely some sort of rain showers on the way, which will play with the temperatures. Finally, let's have a quick look at Toowoomba, which is down in sort of southeast Queensland region, just to sort of paint a picture of this very changing weather over the week. So Monday, 4 mils from those fronts down in the south, then it clears up and dries out across the week. Lows are sort of in the mid-single digits, 6 to 7 degrees on most days, and then some rainfall coming in on the Sunday, Monday, with those more active mid-level systems. And then spring conditions are poor at the end of the week, but if we go to sort of Tuesday, we've got some, here we go, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, some good spray conditions around those times as well. That's it for this weather update. Have a great week and we'll see you next time.